Hello and welcome to On Your Lane. This is the best place for you if you're an ambitious person who wants to make great income, but also wants to make great impact and live a fulfilling life. And today we're talking about companies that offer visa sponsorship in the UK. And before you move on, because you're not looking to move into the UK, I just want you to know that if you're a person who's looking for international opportunities, what I'll share are not just the names of companies, but also the types of companies. This makes it relevant to whatever industry, field, or country, region you want to move to, because then you can find these specific companies elsewhere. The companies I'm going to share usually are diverse and they are focused on inclusion. So whether you find them in the US, in the UK, in Australia, in Kenya, in Ethiopia, anywhere in the world, you find that they're open to foreigners, immigrants coming to them. So therefore, please stick around if you're a person who's looking for international opportunities that will propel your career, your finances, your expertise forward. All right, so before we jump into this topic, I like to give you a foundation for which to work with, because it's easy for you to just have a list of companies and types of companies and go. But I want you to have the best experience possible. So I'm going to share the tips that have worked for me before I share the list of companies and types of companies that you should be focusing on. I will always insist that if you're looking for any opportunity, anything to achieve in your life, you need to check on two things: your spiritual stance as well as your mental stance, because these two work together to make possibilities happen for you. No matter how many opportunities exist in the international job market, if you don't believe that those opportunities will work for you, you will not get them. Life doesn't work that way where you just, you are believing in one direction, you're believing nothing is possible and just things happen to you. It doesn't work that way. So you have to work your faith, you have to work your mindset so that they work together to get you the opportunities that you want. So before we go to this list, I want you to prepare. Give yourself the best shot possible. Give yourself the highest chance of success and avoid wasting energy and time by first of all getting spiritual backing. Spiritual backing is when God Himself is on your side. I believe that life is more spiritual than it is physical. This is why you find some people work super hard and get little results. Other people don't work as hard, but they get big results. This is when people are working legally. I'm not talking about people who are bribing and doing all this stuff. No. But what happens is there is spiritual backing for everything. What makes a person look at you and be drawn to you is not what you have done. You can fix your CV and there'll be 300 CVs before a person and they'll be drawn to some. And one person can come and say, how are you drawn to those that are not as qualified? And they'll tell you, I'm just drawn to them. That is spiritual. Spiritual backing can be positive or negative. Negative when it is outside of God, positive if it is from God. The advantage of having spiritual backing from God is that it comes with peace, it comes with joy, it comes with fulfillment. You can get spiritual backing in other means, but you lose all those benefits. So what I would encourage you to do is get on the same page with God. You don't want to be running fast in a direction that is going nowhere. You don't want to just go with the crowd and say, oh, my friends are doing this, I want to do it too. You'll find that simple things that others are prospering in, you're struggling with because you have no spiritual backing. How do you get spiritual backing? First of all, make Jesus your Lord and your Savior. That leads to your spirit being born again. And when your spirit is born again, it can communicate with God. Then you have access to a higher level of thinking, a higher level of confidence, and a higher level of strategy. I can go deep into this topic, but it's very important for you to get spiritual backing. Otherwise, you will be looking and you will struggle and you will sweat and your results will be little. You'll be in a place where people are being promoted and when it's your turn, your promotion doesn't come. You'll find people are being called internationally to go to, you say, I'm more qualified than them. What is happening? Spiritual backing. You need God on your side, and you can do that right now by pausing this video and inviting Jesus to come into your life. If you already have Jesus in your life, praise God, that's amazing. But you might not even still access spiritual backing. Why? Because most of us don't invest in our relationship with God enough to benefit from it. If you meet God once a week on a Sunday and you're just chilling in a church and you're listening to somebody and that's the only interaction you have with God, you won't be able to get strategies from God. You won't be able to get direction from God. And therefore, there's no spiritual backing. Many Christians who claim to be Christians never really spend time with God in His Word, in prayer, in fasting, in giving, in quietness. So many avenues of accessing God's ideas and God's direction. Most of us are busy with social media, with work, with life, with good things, bad things. We're so busy, we don't give God our attention, and therefore we miss out on this spiritual backing aspect. But it is a powerful thing to have on your side. And I share that because that really worked for me. I've been Christian for quite a bit. And I know what it means to not give God the attention, because sometimes it's boring. I'm like, I want to pray, but I'm bored. I'd rather be doing something else. But when you are earnest in your desire and you keep coming to God and saying, Lord, I've set aside this 1 hour to pray. I don't know what else to say. I'm tired. I am bored. Help me. He really does help you. The power of spiritual backing will transform your career, your finances, the way you operate in your field, your excellence. You need that because most of the people you're going to meet don't know you and don't care. Most people will be more qualified, will have advantages over you. How are you going to send your CV and someone says, this is the one? How are they going to say, okay, it's cheaper to employ a local person, but we're going to get this person because they'll add value to us? How are you going to do that? Spiritual backing, take it seriously. Get spiritual backing and hold on to it tightly. Invest in your time with God. I will share this experience that I had. When I had my visa running out, I started to panic a little bit. And I was like, I need to apply to so many roles. And that's my strategy most of the times. Shoot everywhere, like a machine gun, shoot everywhere. And whatever works, works. And so I had set out these 2 weeks where I was going to apply to everything and give it my all. I sat down to pray. I was reading my Bible. I was worshiping God. You're going to help me. You're going to direct me before I do this process. Now I sat down to start looking. My heart was off. And I didn't understand it because usually when I set myself to do something, I get fired up. And when I get fired up, I go hard. There was no fire. I tried to look for this. I was like, oh, this is good. I tried to save, and I could feel that there was nothing in my spirit. And from my walk with God, I knew that God was not giving me a go-ahead to do it. And I was like, Father, how can you not give me a go-ahead? I don't have time. I need this to happen now. No, there was no go-ahead. And I just stopped. And I was like, okay, I didn't bring myself here. I'm not going to figure it out on my own here. It's like the word in Galatians. You start in the spirit. Now you're doing things in the flesh. What is this? So I was in that space where the Lord had taken me, where he had taken me. But moving from there, I thought, now it's up to me to use my energy and to use my skill. And God was saying, no. And then ultimately, I got myself to a place where I just calmed down. And I was like, okay, have your way. Have your way, do what you want, because I don't want to be where you don't want me to be. So if God doesn't want me to be in a country where I'm seeing opportunities and he says, no, I want you to go to another place, I'd rather listen to God and go to the other place. When I quietened down, I realized, you know what, I'm not looking for 1,000,000 jobs. And sometimes it feels productive to do a lot and apply for 300 jobs, 3,000 jobs, whatever it is that your energy allows you to do. But I'm looking for one, just one opportunity. And I was like, Lord, you're able to show me that one. So help me with that one. And I'll have you know that he didn't. Not that moment. I stayed 2 months, so close to the end of my visa. I was like, okay, Lord, I have 1 week, just 1 week, and I'm out of here. Are you sure you want me to go? And I had had confirmations before that where God was saying, I want you to stay. I want you to stay. I want you to stay. And I was like, okay. So when I had that 1 week to go, that's when I got this interview. And I was hopeful because that was the only interview I had. And they got me. I did everything beyond my expectations. That is the power of spiritual backing. Normally in my strength, I would have been going to so many interviews, but I told the Lord, I don't want to just chat with different people and they just reject me. If the rejection is according to God's plan, okay. But if it's just me just shooting everywhere and I'm feeling compensated, I'm feeling like I'm making progress just because I'm applying to everything, I don't want that. I didn't want to just put myself into all these troubles of putting makeup on to get into an interview, smile, prepare, when God is like, I don't want you to do this. So when I listen to God and calm down, and it takes a lot to calm me down because I have strategies, I have ideas. I calm down and the Lord directed me to that one job. You see, even as I was getting to that interview, there were so many other signs, so much support. I was surprised. People would just recommend me. People would refer, and I'm like, do they know me like that? So the favor of the Lord was upon me in that space. And I'm sharing this story to just encourage you that in all you're getting, get spiritual backing. It is essential, it is practical, and it will blow your mind. It will grant you wisdom. It will grant you connections. It will grant you direction. You don't have to expound so much energy just to get that one thing. The Lord will lead you, but you need to invest in that relationship. My second tip is consistency, which really is attached to another point, which is resilience. This is essential. When you choose a path, you'll be tested. And I'm usually surprised why so many people act surprised when they are tested. When you say you want to achieve this qualification and you start meeting oppositions, don't be surprised. Everything good that must happen in your life will be tested. Everything. And you will show your resolve, your commitment, your desire by pushing through. Just because something is contested in your life doesn't mean it's not God leading you. Just because oppositions keep rising up doesn't mean the Lord is saying, okay, stay, or it's not yours. You need to build a rough, tough skin and push through. I know rejections hurt. It's okay. You can cry, you can sleep over that night or anything, but wake up to do it again. You have to show that you want this thing. Because if it was easy, everyone would do it. So I get people who are asking about international opportunities and they want the easiest pathway to that. And I'm like, I don't know any easy pathway. Because each pathway to a good thing, to an elevation, will challenge you, will stretch you, and you'll feel like, okay, maybe I should give up. But what will keep you moving forward is the vision that you have. And this is why the spiritual backing is important, because the spiritual backing will give you clear vision of where you need to be. I like the story of Joseph in the Bible. He had a vision of where he needed to be and faced opposition corner by corner by corner. And I was thinking, if I was him, I'd be like, I'm done, Lord, I can't do this. But the glory that followed after he persisted, after he continued, was amazing. It blew his mind. He forgot the tears. Same thing with you. When you decide you want to do something, you have to make up your mind. One of my favorite verses from Proverbs, it says, if you fail in the time of adversity, your strength is too small. I read it one time and I was like, this sounds mean. But really, if in the time of adversity, you are all over the place, you're falling, that shows you the strength that you have and that it's small. Everyone can celebrate and move forward and be determined in the time when things are going well. But when you are facing challenges, rejections, people are saying this and that, and you feel alone, can you persist? Spiritual backing is essential. It will help you with consistency and it will help you with resilience. And if you hold on to that vision and you keep pushing all these hurdles, you keep going over them, you will get to your end and it will be a glorious end. So please build resilience, build consistency, expect those challenges and push through when they come. The third tip is company. The people you keep around you will either push you forward or backwards. If you're looking for an international job in the UK or in Ethiopia or wherever you want to go, and all your friends are thinking, oh, there are no jobs anywhere. Oh, have you seen how the economies are going? Oh, this is not going to work for you. Let's just be here, They're discouraging you. You might be like, okay, it's fine. But if you persistently go through that, tomorrow they're saying the same thing. Tomorrow, the next day they're saying the same thing. Over and over, it will wear you out. And now you have the challenges in the world, in you pursuing your vision. Now you have your company, your support system as well, resisting your vision. That is tough. You don't want that double fight. So be choosy about who you spend your time with. Watch your company. The Bible says the companion of fools will suffer harm. Who you're working with will bring opportunities or will bring hindrances. So be intentional. Don't be too loyal to your friendships beyond the vision that God has for your life. Sometimes you're like, oh no, but this is my friend from way back. And your friend from way back's intention or where they are out of, maybe they don't even mean you harm, but they don't know any better. They're pulling you back. And you're like, well, but it's my friend. Now your time is going. You're losing your opportunities. Don't be like that. I'm not saying cut people off completely. Limit your exposure to them and also limit how much you expose that vision to them. Sometimes all it takes is you sharing your vision, your dream, you go with the wrong person and they just shatter whatever faith you had left. Don't do that. Watch your company and watch who you have around. Those are my tips, and without further ado, let's go to visa sponsoring companies in the UK. And as I said before, you can use this as a guide for whatever region, country you want to move to. It's going to apply for any international opportunities in the space you're in. Even in your local country, the types of companies that I share were going to be relevant. Also know that this list is not conclusive. There are more companies in different spaces and industries that would apply to you. So even looking at the companies I mentioned and looking at their competitors is a good, smart move. So I just shared according to my research and according to what I can share right now, but take it further and push through and see the various companies in these different groups that you can target. Now let's go to the list of companies that offer visa sponsorship in the UK. The visa I'm talking about that you'll be targeting in this case is a skilled worker visa, but also a scale-up visa. This visa requires that you get a job with any one of these sponsoring companies, and that company takes the responsibility of supporting your visa and your other costs and processes around there. I love this visa because it lessens the financial burden on a person who wants to move internationally and simplifies the process, because the company will be well versed in this space of sponsoring people, and so you just fall into their system. They'll be able to carry all the costs and guide you and support you as necessary. First, let's start with multinational corporations. These companies usually have a diverse workforce as well as global presence. Some of them even go further by having hiring and integration programs for foreigners. So they work really well for you if you're looking for international opportunities. Companies like AstraZeneca, Unilever, P&G, Coca-Cola, Johnson's & Johnson's, these and their competitors will be ideal for you to target. Next is global consulting firms. These usually operate in the space where they offer consulting for management, technology, and finance. And they look for people with special skills and experiences. Such companies include Deloitte, PwC, McKinsey & Company, Accenture, and Grant Thornton. Next is international development organizations, and these offer a great opportunity for a diverse group of professionals in project management, economics, accounting, engineering, architecture, social development, and so many other fields. And there's World Bank in this space, United Nations, CARE International, DFID, which changed to FCDO, there is Oxfam, and International Rescue Committee, among others. Next, we have technology institutions. This is a fast-growing area with AI, software development. There's a high demand for people with appropriate skills. And the good thing about this area is that you might not need to have a degree. You can get certifications online, and it will allow you to have an edge in this space. Companies like Microsoft, IBM, Facebook, Amazon, and Google are some that are sponsoring people in this space. Next are renewable energy companies. This is an area that has an increasing global focus, and this has led to a high demand for international talent to exist in the space. And there are diverse opportunities as well across different sectors. You have accounting, you have management, you have engineering, project management, economics. There are so many spaces in this area as well. And companies that offer sponsorship in this space include Ørsted, Scottish Power Renewables, Envision Group, and Solar Century, among others. Next is financial institutions. So companies like banks, wealth management firms, insurance companies, investment firms, these usually look for professionals that are skilled in finance areas like accounting, risk management, and related fields. And companies that operate in this space and offer sponsorship include Barclays, HSBC, Citigroup, Aviva, among others. Next is startups and entrepreneurial ventures. These are great for the scale-up visa, which is a newer visa. It's less stressful on small and medium enterprises. So I would want you to look into small and medium enterprises that are fast-growing and have the ability to offer sponsorship. They offer great opportunity for growth fast as an individual because you'll be exposed to different facets of business. At the same time, the visa is less stressful on the company itself, so there'll be more opportunities in that space. So places like Monzo, Deliveroo, Revolut, Babylon Health, and many others in this space would offer such opportunities. What I would like you to do is to look at the companies I've suggested and go further and find more similar companies. Their competitors usually offer sponsorship as well in the same spaces. I could only give you a few, but even if you wanted a more comprehensive guide or list, you can find it on the government.uk website, because that has a lot more information, because it lists everyone who has registered to sponsor. So that gives you some sort of guidance. Although I would want you to know that just because the company has registered to be a sponsor doesn't mean they offer the sponsorship. I remember going to this interview, and I did so well in that interview, and the company was a big prominent bank, and they loved me and they wanted me on board. I was excited, and I told them I needed sponsorship, and they backed out. They said, oh no, we don't want to offer sponsorship on this role. And the thing is, I knew two other people who had just gotten sponsorship in that same company in different roles. So please don't be discouraged when a company tells you that they don't offer sponsorship. And I usually like to keep that discussion towards the end. Don't say it up front because they don't know your value. They don't know who you are. You haven't had a chance to interact with them. Therefore, don't just say, do you offer sponsorship? I want to know. Get into that interview, put your best foot forward, keep the prayer going, keep the fasting going, do everything you can. And then when the discussions are going further, mention your need for sponsorship. Usually, the manager might be inclined, maybe moved, maybe excited to have you on the team. Therefore, they will say, okay, I'll give an exception and offer this person as sponsorship. So don't be discouraged. Just keep moving forward. I hope this was helpful for you. If it was, please leave me a comment, like, share, and subscribe so that we can continue to give this information and help build so many other professionals that are looking to elevate their careers and their lives. I'd love to hear from you. So reach out on social media. I am available across all these platforms. You can find the links in the description that will lead you to me. Otherwise, thank you for joining me. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.